guys? It's Migs with Market Open. Let's go ahead and do the Market Open recap this morning. Actually, no, but before we do that, I wanted to bring this up as it's happening right now. So SLDB this morning was gapping down huge, so probably somewhere around like 55% or so. And I shorted it up here for a second. And yesterday I was looking at a video, and it was talking about dark pools. Dark pools are basically where shares are stored in an internal system where certain firms are able to get shares that don't really show up on the level 2. So I was trying to get it under 9.25, possibly down here to $9. But as of right now, actually right in here in this area, I was getting a lot of buying happening at the 9.25 area. That's why I decided to get out. But now it's actually breaking through. Yeah, so okay, so right here, it broke down for a second, and right within this candle, it was just sitting there bouncing right at 9.25. So there didn't really show any. There maybe was like 400 shares available to be bought, or people were trying to buy at 9.25, but the time and sales just kept renewing 9.25, 9.25, 9.25. So what that tells me is that there are buyers in a firm somewhere getting shares through a dark pool that are being bought that I can't see on the level 2. Dark pool, what is that? They're just shares that basically are not going to show on the level 2. But the time and sales will show them that it's going through. So if you see something renewing at a certain price, but the level 2 is not really quite showing what is happening on the level 2, on the time and sales, then there's somebody buying shares or selling shares through a dark pool. It could also happen on the ask. If this is going above your head, don't worry about it. You guys can go to investopedia.com and look up what dark pools are. It's just something kind of neat that I wanted to point out that I was actually reading about yesterday. It's something that I am aware of, but it's just hasn't really, I don't know, I haven't really seen it happen too many times when I'm really paying attention to what's actually going on and at the price action on the level 2 with congruence with the time and sales. So what will happen sometimes is they will just sit there and want to buy a lot of shares at 9.25, and then sometimes they'll pull their bid back, which means that the price will fall, and then they'll turn around and buy more shares at a cheaper price. So as you can see, that happened here, here, here. It hit 9.18, and they just bought it back up to 9.25, and they just put the wall up again. And as you can see, it's not falling below 9.25, and every time that it does fall, it gets bought right back up. And I think this is probably going to be a bottom for SLDB in the morning. And it might come back up and then, retrace. It needs to do some sort of retracing because it's just been fading off all day. All right, so enough about that. Now let's talk about the first trade I took, which actually was on SLDB this morning. So as you can see, it gapped down all the way from up here, 26-ish. And this was my main candidate for a short. Now, I'll show it to you guys as I saw it. So I saw this, let's see here, SLDB. Saw it this morning like this. I saw it go up, fail, went up, failed. Now, what that tells me is that it doesn't want to go any higher. Now, and if it goes below this point right here, I'm thinking that it's going to fail. So I bought 200 shares, risking about 50 cents, which is the high of this. And I was thinking, okay, well, if it comes back to the highs, obviously I was completely wrong. But as you can tell, next couple of candles, it just tanked. So it tanked. I covered right at 10.20, so I got my 50 cents and I got completely out. I was thinking that it was going to bounce at 20 cents, or at $10, but it actually ended up it kept on falling. So I could have gotten my 2-to-1. Didn't really feel like sticking around though just for that reason. I thought the whole number 10 was going to be able to hold it and it was going to come back and bounce and then possibly sell off again, but I just didn't want to risk it. So I got out right at 10.20. Then I took a short on CTRP. This short on CTRP was kind of interesting. Very, very low risk. Very low risk, I think. Right here at 49, I saw that it was under the 9 and it was getting ready to go under VWAP. So what I did is I only shorted 100 shares. So 100 shares, and I was risking all the way up to 50. So that's a pretty big stop on something like this. But I figured that CTRP had gapped down. It got bought up. So let me zoom out on this. It gapped down on earnings. It got all the way bought up, and it kind of just sat here. And this is kind of the area where it gapped down from. So if it was going to fall, it had a lot of room to fall. So I shorted it right at 49. I got filled right at 48.88, and I covered at 47.86. So I was actually able to get the full dollar out of this, and I made 102 on this. Now where is it at? CTRP. It's sitting at 48. Yeah. So kind of retraced a little bit. It might start coming back down, or the market's actually headed up right now. So not really sure. I'm not going to trade it anymore. It's nothing that I see that's deemable of me taking a trade on. Now the only loss that I did take for the day was BABA, and it actually did end up doing what I thought it was going to do, but wrong timing. Like I said the other day, a lot of the times you will end up being right. It's just you took the trade during the wrong time. So this is kind of what happened. But as you can see, it lost a tiny bit of money. I was taking actually a starter position on BABA. I was thinking that if this broke this 19 or 199.50, we were possibly going to see the break of 200 and head a little bit higher. Now that the market's been falling for the past 2 or 3 days straight, I knew that we were due for a bounce. So BABA having positive news, I think they're going to start being traded in China or something like that. And so a lot of investors see that as more money coming into the stock, so it gapped up significantly. And then it just kind of kept going sideways, and it put in a top here at 199.50 as the market was falling this morning. So with the market falling, BABA kind of going sideways, usually I think that as soon as the market starts turning around, that'll give BABA enough chance to start heading higher. You just need to find your right entry. So the right entry on BABA would have been right at the break of 199.50 as it broke the highs here, and your stop could have been here at 198. But I took a starter position right at 198.99. I believe it was at 1013, so it was right in here. So I took it right in here as it was breaking up over 199. So I got it a little bit lower, but as you can see, the very next candle actually kicked me out. My stop was going to be right below VWAP right here at 198.29. I got kicked out at 198.40. So very close. Good thing it was only very, very close to my stop, but this was only a starter position because I was expecting VWAP to hold and then start curling back up as the market was starting to head higher, but it didn't do that. But it has kept putting, so if you see on here, let's see, it keeps making higher lows. And if you're making higher lows, that means that the buyers are getting more and more and more and more aggressive. Now, the breakout point was right here, the 199.50, but I wasn't really paying attention to it. I believe I was in SLDB. So now let's talk about that trade. SLDB. Okay, so now this is the second trade I took on SLDB. Now, typically, I'll wait for the short when it fails at the very beginning, and then after that, I'll wait for it to retrace, come back to either the 9 and VWAP, get rejected, and start falling for a continuation. Or, here's the other thing that you can do. If there's two ways that stocks can gather up strength. Either they'll go sideways, which means that buyers and sellers will just kind of exchange, and then new people will come into the equation. And either that or it can retrace back to VWAP, and then it can gather up more strength to be able to fall a little bit further because there are buyers into it, and then those buyers are going to turn around and sell their shares. So, but what happened is that the buyers and sellers exchanged shares here as they went sideways. So for consolidation, you can either go sideways or you can pull back. Those are the two ways that you can gather up strength to keep going in the direction that you want to go. So I saw it here. The bottom was 952, and I said, okay, I see it. It's keeping under the 9. It's obviously under VWAP. If it cracks 950, I'm going to put my stop at the next green candle that sold off. So it broke off there, and my stop was actually right here at 974. I could have done I could have done 966 or so, which I actually did end up bringing it back just in case it did go against me. But so my initial stop was going to be 974, so I shorted SLDB right at 1048, 400 shares, since it was about 25 cents away. It broke through on the 950 and just kept falling. And I covered right at 926, all 400 shares, as I saw that buyer in the dark pools start renewing his shares right at 925. I didn't think it was going to break. And as you can see, right now, I was correct on that. It might crack under 925. Also, the price target that was put out by JP Morgan, I believe, was like $9. I personally don't give a damn about what analysts say. I just kind of trade what's in front of me. Let's see here. Where did I see that? JP Morgan downgrades. To neutral. Oh, there it is. Right here. Bioscience price target cut to $9 from $28. So investors will see that and people will start buying it up near the $9 mark because that's what, they think it's cheap. Just because something is falling significantly doesn't mean that you should buy it. But yeah, so I saw those shares renew and I was thinking that it's probably going to start retracing sometime soon. So I took the whole share amount off, ended up with $88 on that, and then ended up the day up 264. And what was that? Yeah, so ended up the day up 264 and hit my price target for the day, and I will be done. There's really nothing else that I really wanted to trade. Actually, no, there is one that I missed, but BNFT. BNFT had extremely low volume though. So BNFT. BNFT right now only has 400,000 shares of volume, and we're almost at 11:30. So for 2 hours. So now you can see that BNFT gapped down. It gapped down, pulled back up, and it failed to move higher. So right here. What this line means is that there were no shares traded at all during that 1 minute. Now that's when you know that the stock is really, really low volume. So what ended up happening is it made a lower high. So if we drew these lines like I always do, so from there to there and extend to the right. So you could have essentially banked on this if you would have shorted it under 24 right here, because why 24? It's a whole number. It bounced right here under the VWAP. So you can see it pull up, make a lower high. It bounced again here at 24. So if it cracks 24, obviously everybody's just going to bail out of the boat and get out. So could have shorted, let's see here. So your stop would have been 50 cents, could have shorted 200 shares. So from 24, 23.50 is 1-to-1. 23 is 2-to-1. 22.50 is 3-to-1. Oof, yeah, we could have banked on this. But yeah, so this is probably my one regret for the day. The only reason why I didn't take it is because it was just so low volume. But looking back on it, I should have. It's not like it was being called out by a bunch of people and it would have spiked or anything like that. So I was probably the only one talking about BNFT in the room. So all right, guys, so that'll do it for the day. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit. And if you guys didn't understand what I was talking about, the dark pool thing, don't forget about it. Just look it up later. It's something that's it's kind of advanced with reading level 2 in the time and sales, but when you get to that level, you'll understand kind of what I'm talking about. You'll say, oh, okay, I should really get out. People are buying on the dark pool. So like I always say, if you guys have any questions, make sure to put it down in the comment section below. If you guys have not joined our Facebook group, be able to go ahead and click on the link. Actually, it's down in the description section. The stock that I made the most amount of money, SLDB, was actually on the watch list that I posted this morning. You guys could have banked off of it with me as well. So with that said, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.